Hello, everyone. I am Bella Bright, and you are listening to QTNA. That's questions that need answers on Amazing 102.5. Our question of the day today will be, what does reinvention look like when you are still discovering who you are? But before we get into this answer, guys, I've got a trailblazer here. I've got the woman here. You can see her hair. She's like, you're gonna see me today, and we do. We do. And whenever you're done listening to this, go to our Instagram so you can see what she's wearing, because she said something a little low key today. But like, if this is your low key, I need to keep watching. But today I have Miss
Mrs.
newly Mrs.
Newly.
Bridgett Waugh.
Waugh. Like Waugh Drive. Waugh.
Waugh.
Yes. Waugh.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
How are you doing today?
I am amazing. So excited to be here with you, Miss Bella.
Thank you. Excited to be here with you too. Please tell us a little bit about who you are.
So what I do is that I do PR stuff, but who I am is a mom, a wife. I love fashion because I have on my Instagram, I'm known as the fashionable publicist.
I saw that.
PR is what I do, but fashion is who I am.
Period. Period. I saw that you do a whole lot for PR. Yes. You do a whole lot for PR.
I do a lot.
And a lot of people, they don't necessarily know what it is, but it's very impactful.
Yes.
With what we do, how people view people on the internet. I remember whenever we had our first meeting, I was like asking a lot of questions because I was actually intrigued.
Good. I'm happy. I always love to talk to young people because, first of all, they keep me in the know.
Period.
I know a lot. However, you guys help me, learn different things. And then I feel like it's a even trade because I can, pour into you and you can pour into me. But if you're not interested, then I don't waste my time because of young. And so you were so interested and intrigued. So I didn't mind the questions. I had fun. Yeah.
Great. Because obviously that's how I got the show. I do know how to talk. So
I think you have to in radio or in television.
That's the point, huh?
Exactly.
Well, we are going to get to the question of the day. I will reiterate I don't know what that was. What does reinnovation look like when you're still discovering who you are?
That's an amazing question. I absolutely love that question. And I'm going to ask it on my Instagram too. So people can tune in.
Great
I love
question.
it. If you don't mind, just
of course.
steal your question. But wait, repeat it one more time for the people in the back.
What does reinvention look like when you're still discovering who you are?
So reinvention can look like fun if you choose to. It can look like it's stressful if you choose to. And it just depends on how well you embrace the reinvention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I tell my clients and I tell people you should reinvent yourself at least every 2 years to every 5 years.
Okay.
You should do something different because people know you. Stay with the basics, the foundation of yourself, of who you are, because that should never change. Meaning, like you're sweet and you're happy and you're fun and you're inquisitive and you always want to know things. That never changes. But your hair may change or your style may change or how you go about your career may change. And that's what I mean about when you're reinventing yourself. It should be something that you want to do instead of being forced to do. That's where the stress comes in. If you're forced to reinvent yourself, like if you worked at a job for years and you're just doing that job and it's mundane and you go in and day out and day in, you do the same thing. Then they come to you and they say, we don't need you anymore. You're fired. Now you're sitting there and it's like, what do I do? So that's when the reinvention is stressful. Because now you have to figure out what are you going to do. You're not old, but you're still at that age where it's like, yes, I still have vitality. I still want to have fun. So then it's reinventing yourself. But then it's that time that you should say, what is it that I've always wanted to do? What am I good at? Then that's what you should do instead of saying, okay, let me just go and get another job. I feel like people should then take that opportunity to do something else and reinvent themselves and show the world who they are. Now, when I say having fun, which is,
Yeah.
something that you're doing, but you're doing everything that you love. And I say that because I let people put me in a box for a very long time. But I love fashion. I love telling stories. I love PR. I love, talking to people. I love, running. So it's different things that I love doing, but I felt like I couldn't share all of those things, but they're all a part of me.
Hmm.
But then when I came to this place where I was like, you know what? I love fashion. I love beauty. I love the lifestyle that I live. So I'm going to share it and not be afraid anymore. So I started a YouTube channel called This Is Me, Bridgett, bring you all things fashion, beauty, and lifestyle. And so, we have a tendency to want to please people
Hmm.
and not be judged because we all judge each other, although we should not. And I try very hard not to judge people because what does it say? We listen and we don't judge.
Yeah, we listen and we
We
don't
listen and we
judge.
don't judge.
But
But
that's hard to do.
it is to a certain degree. But then why is that? Because I was raised differently than you were.
Mm.
So let's embrace each other's differences. Let's figure out what it is that you know. And then maybe I can learn from you and you figure out what I know and then you can learn from me. So it's fun when you are purposely reinventing yourself.
Yeah. I
Did I answer your
mean,
question?
of course, yes, you definitely did. And it was a really good
I
answer.
know it's long, but
I know for me, with the whole reinvention thing, I haven't really done it very much.
yes, you have.
I have. It was never intentional. Whenever I try, that's when it doesn't happen. I
Hmm.
don't ever, as a kid, I would move schools a lot. And whenever I moved schools, I'd be like, I'm going to be a different person. I was never a different person. I was never mysterious or quiet.
Because that's not the essence of
Yeah,
you.
that's not me at all. That's not me. Even when I was a shy little thing as a kid, like every once in a while, I'd still act up.
Hey,
But
what's the fun of being innocent all the time? No, I'm kidding. Not trying to influence you. I'm
no,
sorry.
we're all just saying our opinions here. That's all okay. But I don't know. I feel like I, but also I haven't lived enough life to truly see what the different cycles are in my life. I'm starting to get a hint of like, I see where things are going. I know whenever I'm losing interest and when it's okay to let go and not just to cling on to it.
That's very wise.
And I mean, it's still a little bit hard to tell the difference, but I feel like I'd rather be somebody who's easier to let go than someone who never lets go, you
Gotcha.
know?
Absolutely.
Because if you let go, you can still grab back on. But if you never let go, it's like, like whenever people say, if you got a bird in your hands, you
Mhm.
have to let it free so it comes back to you. If you never let it free, after a while, you're going to have a dead bird in your hands.
Sure.
I don't want to be one of those people. Um, but I definitely want to dig deeper with this
Okay, so
with
before we
you.
go there, let me tell you how you reinvented yourself.
Oh,
So you've gone from
you've done
being
the research?
no, I'm
Oh,
just going to tell you what I see,
oh,
and
wow.
just going through life.
Oh, I would
So
love to know what you think.
so you're how old?
I'm 21 right now.
Okay, so when you were a baby,
Hmm.
you evolved, if you will, into a toddler. And then you
Yeah.
evolved into an adolescent. And then you evolved into a preteen and then a teenager. Then you started kind of like, well, I kind of like this, I kind of like that. But you figured that out when you were a baby. Because if they gave you those icky peas that they put in the baby jars
Oh, yeah.
and you do this,
Hmm.
you're letting people know, the world know, I don't like peas. So as we go through life, we reinvent ourselves as we age. And so
Mm.
then when you started college, you were like, now this is the time to kind of find myself. But the only reason why we say it's time to find myself is because we kind of go within the confines of, because we have our parents that we're depending
Yeah.
on and they're shaping us. So they add out their values to our lives. But then we start to get into, I'd say, junior high school, elementary school, our peers decide kind of who we are. You
Yeah.
understand what I mean? Because you spend 8 hours of your day with your peers and you only spend maybe 4 at home because the other 8 you're sleeping.
Yeah.
So your peers tend to raise you, and then as you start to see things and experience things, then you change who you are
Hmm.
or what you feel like at that moment. So you've evolved And because you were like, well, yeah, I guess I have, but I'm really not paying attention to it. You really didn't pay attention to it until you maybe got in high school and in
Yeah.
college. But you were doing it way before then when you were telling people, I
That's a
don't like
really good
that.
perspective.
I don't like this. My favorite color is pink, or my favorite color is green, or I don't want to wear that. I want to wear this.
Hmm.
So you were already making those decisions to evolve and, reinvent yourself. And so when you decided to go with this hairstyle, and then when you decided to dye just a part of your hair, that's you evolving and being who you are, true to yourself. Does
A
that make
really good
sense?
point. Yes. Because I think, I mean, that is what growing up,
Yeah,
like you don't do it all at once. You
you
don't just wake
don't.
up tomorrow and think, this is the new me, I
Yeah,
guess. I'm somebody who's very all or nothing,
yeah, I
you
can see
know?
that.
Thank you.
And you,
Because
you go all in, and
I,
then it's like,
yeah,
okay, I've
it's
done
like,
it.
I
I'm
liked
good.
it yesterday, but I don't know
Exactly.
about long
I don't know if
term.
I want to do it anymore.
And
I just
that's
wanted to experiment. But that's
exactly
living life.
because, especially like I do one thing at a time so I
Hmm.
can get used to it.
Yeah,
Because if I locked my hair, dyed it, and got a piercing all in the same week,
no fun.
I would look at myself and be like, oh, yikes, what did I do?
Yeah.
You know?
But it was a gradual, eventual, thing that you
Yeah.
decided to do. And that's what I'm saying. We reinvent ourselves all the time. And, it's sad when people have to just kind of stay under someone's thumb
Mm-hmm.
and they're afraid to, reach out and be themselves. I mean, branch out and be
Yeah.
themselves. So, yeah. And don't let people say that you're what's the word I'm looking for, like scatterbrained or flaky or whatever,
Yeah.
because you'll do one thing and then you decide to do something else. Don't let people call you that. That's not what that is. You're experimenting, and don't call yourself that either. And don't accept it from anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
You're experimenting, and like you said, you stick with it. Then it's like, well, I thought I liked it, but you've experienced it.
Yeah.
Move on.
And especially right now, I'm so young that like
That
whatever
part.
I'm doing now, I'll be like, girl, I was crazy in my 20s. Like you don't
Yeah.
even know. And like I think I understand that in certain things,
Hmm.
like whenever I make really big decisions, I'm like, well, worst case scenario, I fail and I've got plenty of time to recover.
That's right.
But little things of like, what if I what if I just like wore something crazy today? That's a little bit scarier. I don't know why, but like smaller things are harder for me to, take risk on.
Hmm.
And I don't know why, but we definitely will get into that
Yeah,
in
let's
the
dive
next
into that,
segment.
Bella.
Yeah. Well, guys, we will listen. You guys will hear us again in a few minutes after these messages, these songs. Stay tuned. Stay in your cars. Bridgett Waugh. Hello, everyone. I am Bella Bright, and I'm back with Bridgett Waugh.
Mrs. Bridgett Waugh.
Mrs. Don't get it twisted. You know how a few people have done this, like celebrities will be on like the red carpet and people will be like, Miss, oh, get your boyfriend. My husband.
Yeah,
And
my
I'm like,
husband.
period.
Right.
Don't play.
Nope.
Well, here I am with Mrs. Waugh.
Mhm.
And she is, if you guys don't know, the owner of a PR company.
Mhm.
And not just any PR company, she deals with everything: beauty, entertainment, sports, nonprofit, politics. If you need your image to be seen, to be advised, everything else that PR is,
Mhm.
clearly she knows what she's talking about because
Clearly.
everything. I have a lot of questions for somebody who is so successful, so established.
Thank you, love.
That's where I'm headed.
Of course.
And I'm
You're
not too
there.
far off.
That's right.
But you've got 20 years of experience.
23.
23.
Mhm. I started in 2002,
Wow.
March.
Before I was even planned, she was out here. She was out here doing the job.
She said before she was even planned. Wow. I'm just kidding.
Well, you've been in this field for 23 years.
Hmm.
You've changed a lot in 23 years.
I have.
Friendships changed, mindset changed, all of the above. But what tools do you use to remain constant and push for all the things you wanted to accomplish?
Wow. Kelly, some great questions.
Oh, this is actually my co-host.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So tools. When you say tools, give me what you mean by tools.
Like whenever you're at the point where you have a goal, but you get fatigued and you're like, well, I got to keep on going. What keeps you pushing?
So one of the things that I always say, which is a mantra that I live by, is to thine own self be true.
Mm,
And so I always think to myself, is this what I want to say? Is it moral for me? Because I value my integrity and being moral
hmm.
and manners. Is it going to make me look bad? Because I'm a brand.
Yes.
So I have to look at, will this damage my brand, my reputation, or who I am as a person? Because I sleep well at night. So I continue. That's one of the things I like, to sleep well at night. I don't like to do things that'll, go against me or someone else.
Yeah.
I'm not a mean girl, if you will. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
I'm very, nice, very polite because I was taught manners. However, at the same time, don't cross me because I'm not stupid.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But if there's a goal or something, I just think about, like we were saying in your first question, you know, reinventing myself. Times are changing. So if it's something that I want to do, then I encourage myself. I journal, I meditate, also,
Mhm.
in prayer. So it's just a thing of keeping myself uh, positive and not any negativity. And then surrounding myself with people who really genuinely love and support me.
Yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
important.
That is really important.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that no matter what, the guests that come up here, there's
Hmm.
always a common theme of like community is important. And
Yes.
especially right now in my life where I'm finally at a point where I can choose who's my friends and I'm not just like, well, you're in my class, so we're friends now.
Right.
You know, I I I think it's a little bit scary sometimes because I need to make sure that the right people are in my corner,
Of
but
course.
I I feel like I'm a good judge of character,
There you
at
go.
least a little bit.
You'll know. You always know.
um Another question.
Hmm.
So, where you were when you started your career is very different from where you are now. You're still the same
Absolutely.
person at your core,
Hmm.
but you know what's happened. You've learned from it. And a lot of people as time goes on, they get jaded, they're more complacent. Other people are like, "No, I've learned my lesson. I know I get what I deserve because I'm done just letting people push me over." I want to know, if you were in a room, like you 23 years ago walks through the door,
Hmm.
what can you learn from her?
To not minimize myself.
Mm,
It took a while to um, let myself know that I was great and be okay with that. Not in a what do you call that? What's the word? Conceited way,
yeah, yeah,
but to know that I'm great. I'm good at what I do. Don't doubt myself. That it's okay to be nervous, but you have this.
yeah,
And when you saying earlier, about failing, you fail up. That's success. If
yeah.
everything's always perfect, then how will you ever know how to change something?
Mm.
So just going through that, I would just say, you're enough.
Are you still fearful of failure?
Of course. However, I welcome it
Yeah,
more than I did when I was younger, because if I fail at something, it's like, golly, okay, let's fix it. I immediately, because I have a fix it, like it's something's not right, but instead of dwelling on that, it's
yeah,
like, how can I fix it? How can I change it? Instead of dealing with the problem,
hmm,
what's the solution? So
yeah.
I'm very solution oriented, more so now than I was back then.
That's a that's really good because I'm kind of a solution oriented person too,
Hmm.
and I like to know that I'm on the right track.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Because I feel like nothing can't be solved. There's not a problem that cannot be solved if you're
exactly.
open to a solution.
Hmm.
One of the things that I believe is, if you put it out there and say, okay, well, how can I do this? You'll get your answers.
Okay. Now, I've got a question that young entrepreneurs might want to hear you answer.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, the words just moved. That was crazy. Your PR firm helps creatives and professionals get seen.
Hmm.
But for someone starting from scratch with no team, no budget, what are the first three things that they should do to start building their personal brand?
For one, this can be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Use your phone. You don't need to get expensive equipment.
Yeah.
Get on social media and then start being consistent while you're on social media. Constant, consistent, and make sure you're credible.
Okay. Okay. So 23 years ago, we didn't have the phones we have now.
True,
So you started a very different way.
true.
Do you tell people, younger people now that are trying to get started in that area, that, you're really at an advantage? Or did you think that, like, it doesn't matter what you have?
Well, back then I had to be more creative. And
Mm.
so I know you guys might not know this, but it's called a fax machine. No,
Fax
I know you don't know what a
machines.
fax machine is, but we had to write press releases and
Mm.
you would fax them over as well as email. You could email things
Yeah.
over as well. Um, but back then, let's see, 23 years ago, what were we doing? Let's see. So we really didn't have the phones like they are now, but you had your website.
Mm.
So that's how, and you had this, your mouth.
Yeah.
So you would be a mouthpiece and then lead people to your website. And then you could either send out, so we have these things called one sheets, where it's just one sheet and it's your picture and it has your bio, things you've done. And then if you're a speaker, then topics that you speak on, media outlets that you've been in, and then you send those around as well. So you can email things like that to pitch yourself to the media. And then, back then you pick up the phone and you call people, hey, I'm so and so, and you have to be quick when you're
Yeah.
pitching people. And now, and building relationships
Yes.
is very important. And, networking. So networking and building relationships. So whenever you go somewhere, then you network. And when you talk to people, then you build the relationship. See, people say, oh, I have this contact, I have that contact. That's great. But did you build the relationship?
Yeah.
So when we first talked, I was building a relationship with you. I don't just want to say, oh, yeah, I know Bella. Yeah, she's a contact. No. Oh, Bella is amazing. We talked and she's so inquisitive. She's so smart. That's building a relationship. You see what I mean? And she
Yeah.
has her dream to do this and she wants to do that. She has so many great things that she wants to do. That's building a relationship. So when I meet people, so last year in December, I won an award for PR from the Houston Association of Black Journalists. Thank you.
Congratulations.
And we said speeches, and I said, over the years, 23 years, I have gone to birthdays, baby showers, weddings with all these people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
That's building relationships
Yeah.
with people instead of saying you just have a contact. And when people have babies, oh, how's your baby now? What, 3 months, 2 months? Oh my gosh, you remember? Well, yeah, but that's the thing that I do intentionally because people like that because it's not like, okay, well, yeah, you work for, ABC 13 or KHOU 11 and you're a producer or you're an anchor or you're a reporter. It's that personal side. That's what you do. That's not
Yeah.
who you are.
Exactly.
So people like that when you realize, oh, you know who I am. Yeah.
Well, let's flip the question a little bit.
Okay.
Well, not necessarily. It kind of inspired a question of like, how does your expertise of keeping relationships with people that you work with influence the way that you keep relationships personally? Do you learn from your personal life how to treat people in your work life or vice versa?
That's a good question. They kind of go hand in hand
Mm-hmm.
because it's what I do. Public relations. How do I relate to the public? Doing interviews, interviewing people. So the only time you'll catch me not dressed is at 5 a.m. in the morning when I'm working out or if I'm going for a run. And if you see me, you're doing the same thing I'm doing. So that's okay because
Yeah.
I'm my own walking billboard. So they kind of go hand in hand with my personal life and my professional life because it's just me. So what you see is what you get. I'm the
Mm.
same person privately than I am publicly. I know it's hard to believe, but I'm pretty much the same person.
No, it's completely believable. I mean, that's why you're so likable.
Thank you. And people know when people are being fake. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Now I will say, professionally,
You
I
got to
will be
clean it up
more
a little
professional.
bit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
won't, like ha ha ha. I don't really laugh loud anyway, but you know what I mean. Like, girl, I wouldn't do that, and
Yeah.
because it's not that setting, and
Mhm.
I don't know you well enough to say, girl, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So my speak is a little bit more professional, if you will, but the person that I really am. Like my husband told me, because we dated in high school, and when we got back together, he was like, your essence of you is still the same. It's never
Oh, that's
changed.
beautiful.
That was amazing, right? And for
Yes.
someone who's so close to me, I was like, wow, that means a lot coming from you. So
Yeah.
yeah, so they kind of intertwine.
That's actually really a great compliment. I hope that one day somebody says that to me. The essence of you is still the same. Wow. Beautiful. Well, we are going to wrap this segment up and we're going to come back very soon with a game.
Cool. I'm
And
excited.
everyone's going to want to listen to this because it's going to be really good. We've got a professional playing. So if you're about to get out of your car, I don't care what you're doing, stay back in it. We will be back soon. See ya. Hello, everyone. I am Bella Bright, and you are listening to QTNA, that is Questions That Needs Answers, on Amazing 102.5. Now, at this point in our show, we will have a game. Not every time. Not everyone gets a game, but we have a very special person here today. And so we have a game. We have a game.
All right.
We're calling this game Scandal.
Ooh, scandal.
Jalen thought of that. But actually, before we get into the game, I want to say something really, really important.
Okay.
My co-host, Jalen, she normally sits right here. The one with the big curly hair. Everyone loves her, but today is a very big day for her. She is graduating from college today, and that's why she's not here. And I want to let her know. I've said this before on Amanda Sapp morning show this morning, but again, congratulations, girlie. We're so proud of you. I love when people graduate. Last semester, one of my friends graduated too, and it's just like, wow, that should be me. But I'm so happy for them.
Yeah.
But our game. So here's our game, Scandal.
Okay.
Since you are a PR professional, I'm going to give you 3 scenarios.
Just so you know, it's called practitioner. PR
Oh,
practitioner.
PR practitioner. Oh, that sounds a lot better.
Because that's what we're called, practitioners.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, leave it to PR to know the right thing to call themselves. Like, okay, so since you are a practitioner,
yes, ma'am.
I'm going to give you 3 scenarios.
Okay.
If you have a client, they go through something, and how you would handle the situation. First.
Okay, so this is called crisis management also.
Crisis management. Yep. Oh, okay. I'm learning things today. Learning is one of my favorite hobbies, so I'm really happy about that.
Awesome.
So our first scenario, it's a little bit on the easy side. Someone finds old tweets that your client retweeted that might have some very controversial views. How do you navigate the situation?
So it's about my client?
Yes, your client.
And my client tweeted these back in the day?
It's like they didn't directly tweet it. They retweeted something that, like, if somebody saw today, they're like, why would you do that?
Why would you do? Okay,
yeah.
Because it doesn't go with their brand.
Yeah.
Okay, so first question, I would be like, why did you do that? To my client, because it's like, what is wrong with you? Why would you do that? Then, of course, depending upon how popular they are, we would have to have a press conference. It just depends. Like, if they're really big, a celebrity, they would have to have a press conference so they could say to the public and the world, these were my views at the time. This is not what it is, but we have to get right on top of it. If not, pull them down and then put out another tweet. Well, it is still Twitter, X, whatever.
Yeah.
I apologize. I misquoted, or I put something out there that I thought was cute, but it's not. And then whomever they hurt, or if it was someone that reached out to them directly and said, hey, this wasn't cool, blah, 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 depending upon what it is, and to make amends with that particular brand or person or group of people that they offended. But it's called crisis management. How can we manage this crisis and get it under wraps to make their brand still viable?
Yeah.
Then again, and I'm being very honest, it depends on what they've done. I would release myself from them.
Really?
Yes, ma'am. I just told you I am a brand. I don't take on all clients all the time.
Okay.
I don't just take you on just because, you have the funds, or,
Yeah.
I think it's blah, blah, blah. Does your brand or your lifestyle or your beliefs line up with mine?
Okay.
Because I don't want to be known as someone who represents someone who's mean, who's cantankerous, who's bad mouthing people.
Yeah.
Why would I take on someone like that or have a bad attitude? That's not, because that's not me. And it would be very surprising because people are like, why are you representing them? You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So yes, depending upon how disparaging what they said, I would part ways.
I love that. So this this next one is going to be really, really interesting.
Okay.
And it kind of like piggybacks off of this one,
Okay.
what you just said here.
Okay.
It says your client wants to launch a new project,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of people in their industry don't like them. How would you improve their reputation so others will support the launch?
Okay. So remember when I said about getting to know the person
Mhm.
and not just what they do, getting to know who the person is. So if I saw something that was good first, remember I told you, because I listen, I don't judge.
Yes.
So I try to get to know the person, not what other people have said. So I'm someone that, so someone comes to me, oh, Bella, I don't like her. Okay. And I would keep it moving. Well, what about you? First of all, don't talk to me about Bella. My experience with her has been amazing. Whatever you had your experience, I don't know, don't want to talk about it. And I move on. So you can't really judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
And if they've done something in the past, first we work on their image. Okay, why do people believe this? Did you do this? Was it a misunderstanding? You have to get to the bottom of why people dislike you, and then see if we can fix that 1st. And then make genuinely make your public appearance or your public reputation more positive than just trying to do it for, like they say, do it for the gram or do it for
Yeah.
likes or something like that. But it has to be a genuine thing that they want to do. And people know when you're being fake.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
People don't realize that people can tell when you're fake or when you're genuine.
And I wish they would get it, because sometimes I'd be watching people online.
Yeah. But, we're not going to get into that.
We're not going to get into it.
But truthfully speaking, just to see what it is, and then if it's something, again, if I want to align my brand with or not. Because if I feel like it's not salvageable, I'm not going to waste my time. Now, I do love a challenge.
Yes.
Only if I see that this person is genuine and they really want to make changes. So what have you done before we got together, or before you sought me out? Then they say, well, I've done this, but why didn't you put it out there? Well, I didn't know. Okay, so now we have something to work with. Because you've already started, and you've already started the foundation of you changing your reputation to the public. So let's put that out there so people can see that you're not being fake, that you just did it all of a sudden. You've been doing this for 3 years. Why didn't you tell people? Well, because people already don't like me, But look what you've been doing. Let's show the good side of you. So then now the public can say, okay, wow, they've been doing this for 3 years. Okay, so they're not faking. This is great. So
okay. I'm going to do one last one because we have a third, and I really like this one. I think I came up with this one. And this one I would love to know.
Okay.
So you have a client that is a social media influencer whose brand is a hot girl with hot takes.
Hot girl with hot takes. Okay.
After implementing the perfect plan, marketing plan, like she's about to start like a rebrand.
Okay.
So we're starting to get into it. You guys put a lot of thought, effort into it. She decides she's gonna run for governor in 2026.
Okay.
How do you clean up her image to be politically ready?
Whew, okay. So she's a hot girl with hot takes.
Yes.
So I love that, actually. Hot girl with hot takes.
Thank you.
So
I thought of that.
If she's had the hot girl thing or the hot girl summer, things of that nature, I would twist that. I don't like to use that word twist, but it is what it is. But kind of spin it, if you will, for kind of staying with the hot political takes. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of hot girl, I would change the verbiage.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I would say, but something, it's so and so with the hot political takes, because now she's running for this. I mean, and like I said, when you evolve, anyone can change. And so if she's always done great things, although her image was hot girl with hot takes, but she feeds the homeless on the weekend, but nobody knew that because she didn't tell people that. Or
Yeah.
she has made used her platform to make changes in the community, to get a stop sign put in there because cars were running and kids were in danger, or speed bumps in her neighborhood. Those are all things who what politics, because you're a person who's wants to see a change, and so you need more of the public to put you in office so you can create that change. But then you've been doing those things already using your platform, because now maybe when she did hot girl hot take she was 18, 19, or in her 20s. Now she's in her 30s, and it's like, okay, well, I'm very popular, I have this platform, I have over 1 million followers or 2 million followers, I'm ready to make a change on the political side. I've done it with my platform, but people didn't take me seriously because I'm hot girl hot takes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now I am older, so now she's an adult. So
Mature.
changing that image from that 20-year-old in her 20s talking about woo, popping bottles and drinking or whatever, to now this more responsible young lady who has. And so I would bring up all the things that she's done using her platform in a positive way. How she put in a stop sign in her neighborhood, how she put in speed bumps because this needed to happen, or she donated money to United Way, or to the Salvation Army, or different things that she's done in the neighborhood that makes her a good citizen Samaritan. So that's how we do
Okay.
that.
I love that. I hope one day we have a president. I mean, we've already had a president that used to be a movie star, right?
Yeah, we're done
So
with that.
we're done with that. We already have a reality TV, but
Yeah.
I hope that one day we'll have one that was like tried to do the influencer thing, but then was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. But like then they'd start running for president, just like cringy videos pop up everyone. I think that would be fun for me, not for them. So maybe I don't
Yeah.
hope for that because I don't want somebody to be that embarrassed.
We already have someone doing cringy videos.
Yes, we do. We do. But guys, we are going to wrap up this show in the next segment. And I think that you guys will want to hear what Miss Waugh says of like the what to bring with you into the weekends. So I know that you're sitting in your parking lot at home and you're like, girl, I want to get into my house. I don't care. Stay, listen to the good music, come back and see what we got to say. I'll see you soon. Hello, everyone. I am Bella Bright, and you're listening to QTNA on Amazing 102.5. That's question that needs answers. And we have answered a lot of questions today. A lot of really good questions with even better answers because we've got a practitioner in the house.
That's right. PR practitioner.
PR practitioner.
Clock it.
Clock that T. We have to give her the respect that she's owed. So every time we end an episode, we like to ask our guests something that they liked about this episode, something inspirational for our listeners to take with them, and then just anything else that you would like to promote, your socials, website, whatever else.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yes.
Okay, so what was the first one?
The first one
What did
is
I like?
favorite part of the show.
So I did like the game part.
Yeah.
And actually, Bella, to be very honest, I loved all the questions that you asked. That
Thank
was my favorite part.
you.
You asked some very thought-provoking questions.
Thank you. Big
Between
shout out
you
to
and Jayla.
Jalen. Like
Yeah.
she really
Yeah.
helped out with this
You
one.
guys did really good.
Yes.
So great questions.
Thank
Great,
you.
Jayla. Congratulations again on graduating.
And then next is something inspirational for our audience to take with them.
Just to always know that you are amazing. No matter what anyone else thinks, you have to know that for yourself, because people can tell you till they're purple in the face. But if you don't believe it, then it won't happen. Something that Tom Ford says, I think it's Tom Ford, one of those Fords. Anyway, if you believe it, then that's what it is. So if you believe that you're going to fail, then you'll fail. But if you believe that you're going to succeed, then you'll succeed. So to thine own self, be true and believe that you can.
Period. And then anything that you would like to promote?
Oh, yeah. So you can follow me on my Instagram, The Fashionable Publicist. You can also go to my YouTube channel. This is me, Bridgett. That's exactly what it is. This is me, Bridgett, bringing you all things fashion, beauty, and lifestyle. I am on TikTok. This is me, Bridgett. I am on X, She Bridges PR underscore PR.
Mm-hmm.
What am I missing? LinkedIn, it's Bridgett Waugh. And I have some client events coming up on the 26th. I have a senior prom for seniors. So send a senior to
Oh, that's
prom,
so
but it's actual
cute.
seniors, senior citizens.
Oh, and I know they gonna dress
Yeah, they
out.
do. And this is the fifth year that my client is doing this. It's Destined for Empowerment Church. It's amazing and it's free to them.
Mm.
And so we need, sponsors for that. But anyway, that's another thing. But anyway, that's coming up. That's great. And I have a couple of book authors. But anyway, so yeah, just having fun, doing my thing.
Beautiful. Well, guys, my favorite part of the show might be I like the answers that she gave. Very insightful. I was really excited to see what answers that you would give to me today, and I was not disappointed.
Yay.
So,
Glad I did disappoint.
and also just the experience of taking in your person,
Oh,
seeing you, hearing you. I like when people, I feel like you're coherent. I don't know how to explain that further, but sometimes
intuitive.
intuitive,
Highly intuitive.
you're also very I mean, obviously you aren't just, it's it's intentional.
Mm.
So that was obvious because we've got a PR practitioner here. So, but I love that. One thing inspirational that I'm going to say to everyone: the semester's over, guys. I'm proud of you guys. If you failed, you got next semester. But it doesn't matter what happened. We're gonna celebrate that you did it. So go out to the beach, but not when I'm there. I don't like when it's crowded.
Oh my gosh.
So I'll try to
That
go
Bella's
on
trying to tell
days that
people
aren't
not to go to the
busy,
beach
but
when she-
don't go when I'm
I'm
there. Galveston is officially closed on Thursdays because I think I want to go to the beach on Thursday. So I'm sending this information out right now.
I'm done. I'm
But
done.
yes, celebrate. This is a time to celebrate everything that you've done, and we're about to get into spring is ending, summer is getting here. We need to live up. We need to see our friends again because I mean, I kind of neglected my friends whenever I was studying for finals, so I cannot be the only one. So, guys, enjoy your life, enjoy your friends, go outside, go to the beach, but not when I'm there.
On Thursdays, apparently.
Yeah. This Thursday or next Thursday, I think that you guys should just stay at home. But yes.
Funny.
But yeah, guys, listen every Friday, 6 o'clock CST. Not subscribe, follow our Instagram. We have the QTNA. And stay tuned because we've got things coming. Yes. Well, thank you so much for
Thank you for
being
having
here,
me. This
Mrs.
was fun.
Waugh.
Thank you. She's so cute.
Thank you.
I like that tea.
Well, guys, we will see you next week with another guest and some more good questions to ask.